porn almost clouds your memory. Like, oh, she didn't do that this time.
That's true.
She didn't, give me the Gok 3000, what they call it,
I don't know who out there is getting that right now.
Bro, yeah.
Unless you're...
Honestly, I don't know what couples are doing that. You know what I mean? Like, to the porn extent.
If you're in a settled couple, I mean, if you're dating, I could see the Gok. But, I mean, if you're in a long-term relationship...
Yeah.
You're not getting no Gok.
You ain't getting no Gok.
Oh.
Okay.
But... So you're in the dating stage, or what are you right now?
Yeah. So I'm in a dating stage,
Nice.
where we try to just make things exciting.
Exciting life.
Hopefully we'll get to the next stage.
No,
But I like to keep it healthy, and I think not looking at porn, not masturbating.
Good plan.
When you meet your woman, you're like, man, I feel good. This is who I want.
That's
I don't
true.
think about anyone else but her, and I don't think about any videos or anything like that.
Okay.
So when you say this No Nut November, then is it okay to have that intercourse with a significant other? Then is that what you're thinking? Like, is that okay?
I think it's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
As long as you're not using porn to nut or any type of unnecessary.
Yeah.
Let me
That's
throw
a good point.
hypothetical out there. Say you were like, rich, famous, whatever like that. Are you still following No Nut November? If you had the access to pretty much anything you wanted.
Bro, that's a good point.
Because you're gonna indulge if you have the access, right?
I don't know, but you know what? It seems to me like, 'cause you think about like dudes like Drake or somebody who's super famous, right? Who can literally get pussy whenever he wants.
But they already did.
Yeah,
no.
It's
different scale. They already did.
They already did.
So that it's tiring for them.
Yeah, but they now know, right?
Yeah, they know.
So they know that, hey, I don't have to do that all the time.
Yeah.
So they're probably better at reserving their shit because they don't have to do it all the time. Because they can do it all the time.
They can, yeah.
It's a difference between wanting to and being able to.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I'm saying. Someone new, fresh, came into some money or, fame, whatever it is, they're going to go wild. You don't think?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's different for an entertainer and an athlete. Like athletes say they don't even do that because it depletes their energy before a fight, before a basketball game. You want to keep your energy up. But if you have sex or you release, it's like, oh, I'm tired. I need to go to bed.
I think there's another
athletes are slaying stuff, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think there's another side of this though. I remember one thing on the I remember watching Wolf of Wall Street, and the guy that taught Leonardo DiCaprio the hymn.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
he was saying, he's like, you gotta bust a nut all the time. He's like, you gotta go to the bathroom, bust a nut in order for you to perform better.
Right.
So there's another thing too. So like, I don't know, like I see both sides of this. Like maybe I don't know, like it's a little different.
That's a good point.
I remember him all the time too. Like whenever when I'm at work, like maybe I might maybe I need to go to the bathroom right now. I would never do that at work.
He was saying he was like, that's rookie numbers. You got to get those numbers up. Remember that in that movie?
Yeah.
And to that point too, like Oscar De La Hoya, I remember he said that he would fuck before fights.
Yeah.
And boxing trainers, because you used to box, right?
Yeah.
Adam used to box. Roman used to box.
Yeah.
And trainers would say, don't do that before a fight because it's going to weaken your legs, right?
Mayweather said his best performances ever was when he kept going to the strip clubs, kept freaking off and everything like that.
Exactly. And Oscar De La Hoya said he would fuck before fights.
Yeah.
He'd be like, oh, I have to fuck before a fight because it makes my legs looser. Right? He said, my coach would tell me not to fuck before I get onto a fight, but I would do it because it would make me feel more limber.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like, if you don't, if you do hold out, then there are benefits such as like, just the control. Just
mental
like,
clarity.
Yeah, being like super, like...
control of your body.
Yeah.
Not like he said, he has to jack off twice. So that's already something controlling his body. Like, I need to get this out. I'm an addict. And some men do it for aggression. Yeah. Some men do it to keep their aggression down.
There was a study that 50% of men do it, like, I don't want to say every day, but basically almost every day. So, two of us out of... Just
dudes I go to the gym with, right?
Yeah.
That I've like talked to and stuff like that, they'll jokingly say, I gotta do it at least 3 times a day. I gotta release myself at least 3 times a day. And maybe it's because they lift a lot of weight, so they got a lot of like testosterone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the case. But I don't know. I have a friend, I was telling Val here about that. Like, I have a friend who swears by not nutting unless you're with somebody.
Yeah.
Right? No self-indulgence or anything like that. And he swears by it. And the dude's a little older than me, but he, you know what I mean? He has like a lot of vitality. So maybe there's something behind it. Maybe there's something behind it. I'm just saying. Maybe there's something behind it.
When do you think your guys' peak condition, or do you think your guys' peak condition is still ahead of you? Or like, what do you feel?
I still feel like I'm in peak condition.
You could beat yourself back then, or
I don't. Well,
like in a race.
I think it's more about experience.
Yeah, okay.
So right now I'm experienced. So me against my 25-year-old self is smarter, more experienced on what I would do in a situation or even a relationship.
Yeah, the peaks are different for sure.
Oh, I mean physical only.
Physical peak, I might have been like physically.
When I seen your box, you got some good ass hooks, bro.
This motherfucker.
This guy just feels
some hooks.
Because
I think I'm kind
right now.
Yeah, just because of the because my 25-year-old self is stupid. He wants the knockout.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But this guy right now is looking for the win, the W.
No, that's
so I'm gonna back off a little bit.
Yes.
You know, my 25-year-old self was compulsive.
Yeah,
I'll make compulsive decisions.
Speaking on that, so I was just literally yesterday playing basketball with my son, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, he played with his friends, so I was like just kind of shooting, you know what I mean, on my own, doing layups and shit like that. And I can feel that I didn't have the same type of like get up as I did maybe 10 years ago or 5 years ago, right? Okay. But I was like, I probably could still beat myself at 25 or at 21 because I know a little bit more, right? I know that the 25 or 21-year-old me would have tried to beat myself on just straight athleticism. Okay. Where now I could be like, okay, I'm gonna fake this side, go this side. You know what I mean? Okay. I was thinking this. You know what I mean? Guys, we think shit like that. Like,
yeah,
it's such a weird thing when we think about our own mortality and we think about like who we were versus who we are, and then who we could be in the future. Yeah. I think men. I don't know. I'm not a woman, so I can't say for sure. But I think men think a lot about that shit. What do you think?
No, I agree, and I think a lot. Well, from your point, I was kind of just thinking like. Yeah, I think we have this vision and like, hey, we will be a lot smarter than I was back then, and you know, I'll perform a little bit better because of my brain.
Right.
But you know, then you look at some of the guys like B-Hop that might have stayed in the ring a little too long.
That's true.
A little too long. Yeah. Like, you know, maybe his brain was ahead of his body.
Bro, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah,
that is a good point.
So, yeah.
Speaking of B-Hop and boxing in general, I'm pretty excited about the Canelo fight tomorrow. Like so Caleb Plant, Canelo Alvarez, right?
Yeah.
And Canelo's a veteran, but he's still young.
True.
Like he's been fighting a long time, but he's still a young cat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he got that belt. He got that belt when he was like 22, 23 years old. So we've seen a lot of him, and I think you know he stepped in there with the dogs at a young age.
Yeah.
You know, he got thrown out there to fight Mayweather at like 23 years old.
Right.
Like not many people are stepping up to do that. So like
and
we've seen a lot
since
of them.
then.
Yeah.
What scares me right now though is like it's been so many upsets and stuff like that. So it's like, do you think there could be an upset? Like I don't know. I hold Canelo to a high standard, so I don't think he's gonna lose.
Yeah.
But all these upsets that have happened recently, like I don't know, dude. I'm scared. Like
I think the upsets happen because boxing's not giving us what we want.
Oh.
We want certain people to face each other, but they're all about the money. Like we want this person to go against each other because the money, you know?
Yeah.
Like we all want Gervonta Davis to fight someone like, you know, Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
But that's
Crawford, too.
Or Crawford. But that's not going to happen because there's two different promoters and two different levels of agendas, you know?
And if you keep picking on these, you know, these tomato cans, like they say, eventually you're gonna meet somebody that's gonna have a good day, and they're gonna go in there, and you know they're gonna make this upset happen. So
that's true.
You know?
Do you think too though? Like, I mean, of course they overlook people and stuff like that, but do you think like casinos have an influence? Like, think about how much people. Oh, that's an easy bet. I'll bet on Joshua. That's an easy bet. I'll bet on Wilder. But then the upset because the casino's raking the money because you know. Do you think it's something like that or not?
I mean, it could be.
Or it's just straight fair.
It could be. I don't think it's as unfair as it was back in the day because like you guys have probably all read stories where like the mafia literally influenced fights, right?
Yeah.
And like Rocky Marciano, right? They fucking influence the fight, and Rocky Marciano wins so the mob can win money. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know if it's that much now. I don't think it is. You know, but there's always that aspect. You know what I mean? There's always that aspect, but I don't know. I mean, I was immediately thinking about. What came to mind immediately was you guys both went to the Fury and Wilder fight.
That's fucking
and you guys bet on Wilder because they went to the Wilder Fury fight.
We bet with our heart.
They bet with their heart.
We bet with our heart.
I see what you're saying because money's the motivator.
Yeah.
If you didn't have the second or third fight, there would be no more money into it. Who's to tell us that after the first fight, the second fight wasn't fixed?
Yeah.
Just to have a third fight.
Yeah. Did you hear about the glove gate or anything? Did you think about anything about that?
Oh, where Wilder said that the gloves were heavier on Fury's fists.
Oh yeah, this time too. Yeah, there was a bogey this time on him, and there was one last time where he didn't have his hand all the way in. It was like his fist was in the wrist, and he was like,
interesting.
I think that has to do with sore loser. Wilder's a sore loser, man.
Yeah, what do you think? Because you guys were there.
Okay.
A lot of excuses.
So you guys were there live.
Yeah.
Right? You guys got to see it, witness it live, right? So there's a difference live, because we've been to live fights, and there's a huge difference between live and watching on pay-per-view, right?
That was a great
so
fight.
with like Wilder didn't. I mean, Fury said, right? Fury says, "Oh, Deontay Wilder didn't give me the proper respects I needed. You know, he left the ring before he could give me my proper flowers or whatever." Do you guys feel like he had a reason to think that there was any cheating involved, or was it just a straight up fight?
No, I think it was just improper preparation from Wilder.
Yeah.
Like, there were so many different excuses from his entrance. What he was wearing was too heavy on him. That messed up his legs.
Right.
I think this fight right here kind of like proved. I don't know, man. Wilder, he didn't look like he was in after that first knockdown. That first knockdown, he looked like he lost his legs, and it was pretty much Tyson Fury from there on out. Yeah, but I mean, hey, Wilder, he got a puncher's chance, and he came in and he knocked him down twice, which was crazy to watch.
We were there. We watched over 5 knockdowns, man.
What was it like live?
We stood up the rest of the fight after the first knockdown.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I think people realize, like, this is the last fight we're going to see between these two.
Right.
And so you've seen, after the Fury knockdowns, Wilder knocked him down, and then it became just a battle of warriors.
Right.
You know?
Wow.
It's going to be the last fight of two great heavyweights. Now they're wanting to put Fury versus Dylan White. Like, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that fight. Like, I don't know. And, and Anthony Joshua losing too. I would like to see Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder fight. That would be dope. And put those two together, the winner fights Fury, know, and I think that would be awesome. So.
In a perfect like world, that would be how it is. Like, the UFC, I know it gets a lot of shit, but like Dana White at least runs it in the way where he's gonna get the top guys fighting the top guys, because he's like the Vince McMahon of UFC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he can like put matches he wants together. Where boxing, where it's struggling, is that there's so many different promotions. There's like Eddie Hearn. There's Uncle Bob Arum. You know what I mean? And there's other promotions that like, oh well, we have these stable of fighters, you have these stable of fighters, but we're going to keep our stable here to make money, you're going to keep your stable here to make money, I wish it was more open like the UFC, where we would get like Terrence Crawford versus like Gervonta Davis, or Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence, you know what I mean? But in boxing, it's just not happening right now because of the promotions.
And Mayweather even admits it, like, Gervonta Davis says he's not going to fight anybody outside of the Mayweather promotion. Yeah. So they set up him and Rolly, and I don't know, there's been some allegations about Rolly with women, and now he's out of the fight. And like, now Gervonta Davis is going to fight, who knows? I don't know who he's going to fight. And like, those promotions, I don't know, I feel like they need to get together and kind of make it work, because there's a lot of fights that we're losing out on as fans. Yeah. And we're kind of getting a little sick of it. Yep. To be honest, like we need... Yeah, we need to see those guys fighting each other.
I agree.
I like Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez, the way they're going independent. They're young. They're only like in their 20s, and they're going independent. Like Teofimo, he wanted somebody to do a purse bid, so now he's fighting with DAZN, and Devin Haney can go wherever he wants to. So that's good. I hope a lot of these younger fighters go that same route as well, where they're able to fight on any network, any promotion. No one's going to stop these big fights.
It would be nice if that happened, you know what I mean? And like Canelo, I feel like, so Canelo, when he branched off from De La Hoya, like, he had so many fights with DAZN left over, and he fulfilled that. He's like, okay, I'm going to fulfill like whatever fight contract I have left with DAZN, and now he's with Showtime. This fight's on Showtime, and Canelo's making decisions for himself. It'd be nice if more boxers did that, made decisions for themselves, and like fought who they wanted to fight. You know what I mean? And not let the promoters dictate where they go and stuff like that.
That beef with Canelo and De La Hoya, that was
you call it that?
Was funny.
What do those emojis mean? That was like some crazy emoji combinations.
And then there's Ryan Garcia right in the middle too. He's on both sides. He's on both sides. I don't know what to do.
I feel like, when Utah starts progressing like other states and realizing, hey, this is what people want to do, they'll make it recreational. Or at least give you a way to... Because when I found out, Utah doesn't even let you burn marijuana, even though it's medical.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You have to vaporize it.
Really?
Oh, that might be true, because I do know people with medical cards who legal here, but they do like vape it. So,
yeah, exactly. You can't put light to the... You can't put flame to the marijuana. which is wild, you know.
Wow.
And so
when they sell it, like, how does it? I know there's a lot of these medical marijuana like vendors. How do they sell it to you? They sell it to you in the bud? I mean, that's
they sell it to you with the bud.
Yeah,
and so what are you supposed to do?
And there's a lot of
it cooks in like a pen or something.
Exactly. So vaporize it.
Okay.
There's a lot of
strong as fuck,
like if you go to a homeless place, like a homeless center or a homeless shelter, there's a lot of these people who have a medical card, and they're like, "How am I going to smoke my weed? I can't spend $400. I'm homeless. I can't buy a $500 vaporizer."
Yes.
So
That's where the money's at. That's where the money's at.
So their best bet is to get, put it to the flame, put it in the joint and light it up. But Utah's whole thing is like, we're not going to let you put a flame to this.
So stupid.
Which is like they're trying to set another trap for people.
Yeah, that's true. It's traps.
It's traps.
It's traps. And it's stupid because, like, you look at all the revenue Colorado as a state's getting from marijuana sales.
Yeah.
You look at Arizona now that they joined into that, right? California. Bro, Utah would benefit so much if they fucking just legalized it, right?
Do y'all think there's any pros and what are the cons?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good point because Utah is the highest abuser in prescription drugs.
Yeah.
And they also have the highest divorce rate here in Utah.
Highest watched porn, I think.
And highest watched porn.
Yeah.
Thanks on me. So this probably
Rudy's phone. That's all the traffic.
So I think they have to look at themselves. Like, do we want people to use prescription drugs or we want them to use something from the earth?
Yeah.
But
no, there's money in both, but yeah, definitely the prescriptions though. That costs some pennies.
and that kills people.
Yeah, it does.
It makes people have addictions.
Opioids, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what do y'all think, like, I don't know, like smoking in front of, like, kids and stuff like that or whatever, I don't know, do you think there's a problem? Or
that's
what do y'all
touchy.
feel?
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you're going to smoke, like, people smoke cigarettes in front of their kids and stuff, too,
Exactly.
right? Like, do you think the kids are going to get secondhand, or, like, what?
Their kids are definitely getting So people are so cool with the stigma of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Like if you talk to somebody back in the day, they're like, I've been smoking since I was 9 years old, smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Right.
And so everybody's so cool with the idea of tobacco and chewing tobacco that it's not thought of as something. When you talk to somebody, they're like, "Oh, that's the devil's lettuce. You're smoking marijuana," because they have a stigma behind it. And if you talk about marijuana, it was really originally called cannabis, but they named it marijuana because Hispanics and Black people were smoking it.
That's true.
And so they wanted to put a stigma on it.
Yep.
They
And there's a lot of healing properties, the cannabis, the cannabinoids, like that cures cancer, the oil of it.
Yeah.
Like,
That's why, like, I was talking just the other day because I was speaking with somebody who was like, well, I want to use it, but I don't want to get the, like, high from it. And I was like, well, just do CBD.
Yeah.
Because CBD has the, like, medicinal benefits, but it doesn't have the THC high, right?
Yeah, I hear anybody could sell that out here. Like, it's kind of like Wild West, like the CBD and stuff like that. Until the regulations on it, but
they're trying.
Yeah, because it doesn't have the body high or the mind high as THC. You know what I mean? It's like the THC, whatever, is out of it. So the CBD, all the medicinal benefits of it is still there. You know what I mean? I was thinking about getting a CBD vape just for that reason, to help me sleep and shit like that. You know what I mean?
If you guys tried the lotion, oh, dude, pain relief, the best I've ever had. And I need to buy more of it. But any good stories of y'all being high or anything like that?
Oh,
From my 20s, I probably smoke 3 blunts a day.
Oh shit!
Think about that.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money being spent.
My cousin does a lot, but no, go ahead.
Yeah.
Some good.
So we would hotbox. That's what you do when you're a kid or younger. You're like, I want to get the highest effect I can get. So I'm gonna go hotbox and fill this car up with smoke, so we can all just get high, And we used to go to Kevin Madrigal's place.
Name drop.
Sorry, you know what you're up to, Kevin. So we would go to his apartment even when he wasn't there because it was just a safe spot.
It was hidden. That was a spot to go.
At that time, I had a Jeep Grand Cherokee, so we would just smoke in my Jeep, fill it up, and then get the fuck out of there.
The Jeep was a fucking spot, though. The Jeep was a big spot.
It was a whole vibe. In that Jeep. Do you guys think that, like, I mean, now that Utah has medical marijuana, can it become recreational? Like, what are you guys thinking? Because, I mean, a lot of people are going to, like, Windover, that's not that far, to pick it up. Like,
that's,
I don't know. Like, I think that's the next step for us. But to be honest, it seems like a big jump. Like, it seems like, I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
That's the thing. It's like, I feel like, because we all know, right, at this table, that the LDS Church rules the majority of the policies here in Utah. And LDS people, it's okay if as long as it's with the parameters of the law, right?
Yeah.
So like there's a bunch
Or
of
what they care about.
Yeah.
Or if it's money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Or what their church tells them.
Too.
Yeah.
So like,
Or what their church tells them.
Yeah.
But like there's a ton of LDS people statistically, right, that take opioids, right? They're on prescription pills, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's like a thing that, okay, well, it's within the parameters of the law, so I can take it, right? Even though it's just as bad, maybe worse than
I can
than
abuse
marijuana.
it.
Yeah. Now, marijuana is medical here in Utah, right? And if it's going to become recreational, it's going to be because people in the LDS Church. Sorry about that, folks.
Got to go home.
It's gonna be because the LDS people of the LDS Church are gonna say, okay, well, maybe we've done the research, maybe we understand now, and okay, we're gonna change the tenets of our religion to accept it. You know what I mean? That's the only way I think it's gonna become legal recreationally, realistically. You know what I mean? That's what I think. I don't know.
Yeah, if they have their hand in it, for sure, because I see that.
I think other states have to put pressure on them.
Yeah.
You know, like if the surrounding states are all recreational and you're not recreational, it's like, what are you really doing? You know, you're trying to hold off for some weird reason. So
this brings me to like things that are like legal, quote unquote legal. Like, do you think people really have morals, or do you think they just go with like what they're told to go with, you know, through church or through state, whatever?
I'd like to answer that. I honestly think religious, right?
Okay.
And I don't want to pin. I mean, we all know the majority of this state we live in is LDS.
Yeah.
So they're going to go with whatever the LDS church leaders say, right? Right or wrong.
Yeah.
But even just religion in general, which I don't believe in religion. Like, I'm a Christian, right? I go to an independent fundamental Baptist church, right? But that's not like a religion. It's a denomination,
Yeah.
right? Like, we're Catholics. If the religious majority, the Pope or whatever, says that you have to do one thing or don't do one thing, they go with that, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with the LDS. Like, if the majority of their prophets or presidents, whatever they call them, say don't do this, they won't do it, right?
Yeah.
But people just need to think for themselves, right? People need to understand the data, right? Look at the data and see, okay, is it beneficial to my health? Is it not beneficial to my health? You know what I mean? And don't abuse it. Like, don't abuse it. Don't use it just to get high. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you have like legit reasons to get medicinal marijuana, you know, for whatever health conditions it'll help, then go ahead and do it. But if you're just doing it just so you can get high, I don't know. Like,
I think some people
get drunk, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
I think some people don't realize why they're doing it.
Yeah.
You may have a mental health issue, or you may have something that's bothering you in your life, and you're just smoking, and you may realize, wow, I'm smoking every day, or I'm doing this every day. It's something that's actually
covering something up.
You're covering something up,
true,
you know?
true. And it could be addictive, don't you think? Like,
I think what you're doing, I think the psychological effect is addicting.
Yeah.
You're
It's a
addicted
habit,
to the
right?
habit.
It's a habit,
You
right?
know, I don't think marijuana you could ever be, because I haven't smoked in over 30 days now. So I don't even feel like I need the urge.
You're not going to get the physical withdrawal feeling.
But I think if I was
like that,
smoking cigarettes or drinking beers, you know, it's like, oh, I need that again. You know,
I'm just thinking, like,
Speaking of
on
which.
devil's advocate on their side or whatever, you know, conservative side is like, oh, it's going to be more accessible to kids or like teenagers, right? 'Cause
Yes.
If it's around like beer is and stuff, like, oh, well, I could just, you know,
yeah,
get it from
and that's why they
somewhere
ban
else.
like stuff like edibles, because it looks delicious. It looks like
shit.
candy. It's like,
I've never had an edible, but I hear people get
There was a
fucked
teacher who
up.
gave for Halloween. She had edibles in the basket.
Did she mean to do it?
What the fuck? Because a kid takes edibles. I took a chocolate edible one time, and it made people go in the car go crazy.
I get fucked up off edibles. I
you have no control.
I have some edibles,
Yep.
right? I've shared with you guys. You know, just in pictures, like, hey, I got edibles. But I've taken edibles before and got way more fucked up than I've ever smoked.
Oh, yeah.
And got fucked up.
Because
right?
it's concentrated.
It's concentrated.
Yeah.
So, like, edibles are something that you probably should secure and know what you're doing, right?
Yep.
And but yeah, like, edibles are just a whole nother fucking level.
And it's dangerous because, I mean, you know, and that right there might be a pro to why we should make it recreational, to where we're not, you know, people aren't just making them from the kitchen of their house, you know, making these gummies to maybe, you know, we regulate them, we put the right milligrams in them, and you're not having this problem.
Because it's like prohibition. When they banned alcohol, people look for the sickest alleyways and most viral places to get alcohol. It's like, where can I find this shit?
Right.
But once they legalize, it's like people can do this in the open eyes of the public. Like, this is what we want to do.
That's very true, and I think that it should be legalized for that reason. Right?
Do you guys think like sex should be legalized too? Do you think that would be like stop like people from pimping and stuff like that? Where they physically abuse women?
I don't know.
And they have a safe place to sell pussy.
Like Australia, right? Australia has brothels and stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Parts of Nevada
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. Parts of Nevada have brothels and stuff like that. They always say it's that old cliche. It's the oldest profession, right? Prostitution is the oldest profession,
And it probably is.
It probably is.
Think about it. Is there anything older?
I'm gonna go with the
Sex is from other world.
Sex is.
They've done tests with animals where they give them some type of currency and they'll sell it.
You're right.
They'll give them to the females for sex and and I mean it's kind of you want to clean it up. So
what can we talk about that? Let's talk about that.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say just another thing too. They gave lab rat or mice, right? Because that's the closest thing to us, kind of a thing where they study. That's why they use them. They give it Oreos or cocaine, and like 9 out of 10 chose Oreos.
Okay.
Like sugar is more addictive than cocaine. So.
Okay.
No, hell no. I'm just kidding. No, sugar's addictive. I was on sugar way longer than I was ever, doing some cocaine.
Right, that's true.
No, but that's back to the like selling sex point, right?
Yeah.
I that's something that people need. You know what I mean? Like people need sex, and that's why we talked about it on the episode that Val was on, like instant gratification, sexual gratification. You know what I mean? Like the youth is starting to trend towards that, right? Yeah. Because it's something people need.
But I think if it's like illegal, like whatever, because it's not regulated, right? It's dangerous. You could go to who's
of
not
course.
clean.
Exactly.
Of course.
Yeah.
So
they're gonna look for it in the darkest places.
Exactly. So everything should. Do you think everything should be regulated? Everything should be.
I think
that would be nice.
It would make it nicer because when you go to Arizona and you walk into a store, you're like, they have set things for you.
Yeah.
This is what we have for sativas, hybrids. We have edibles over here. Whatever you want, we're gonna take care of you. You don't have to go to anyone shady.
You start low.
There's a standard.
What are they putting in cocaine now that's killing people?
Fentanyl.
Yeah. That's my point.
Right.
Like, imagine if the government regulated cocaine, even though it sounds ridiculous. But if the government was like, here, this is where you can go get safe cocaine because we're letting it come into the U.S.
Yeah.
They're letting it come into the U.S.
Yeah.
by, pounds of it. And so if there was a regulation, we know that we're not going to be sniffing any, cocaine that will kill us.
Yeah.
Right.
With fentanyl in it. Yeah. And that's what's happening with Mac Miller, with all these people,
That's a valid point. Because if everything was regulated, at least you would know it's like clean to a sense, right?
Yeah.
Like if there was government regulated prostitutes, you would know at least they'd have like routine.
Yeah, you took
an STD checks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. That sounds ridiculous, but it's actually a great point.
Whatever's healthy.
Yeah, because I know I can go to a prostitute now. She's gonna be clean. I'm not gonna infect anybody else. It's like boom. We did it the right way.
Yeah, even females. Because I honestly think that females, you know what I mean. It's scientifically proven they enjoy sex more probably than a male does, right? But if sex was legal, and they could get a magic Mike ass motherfucker with a bomb ass body, and he's not gonna pass on shit, or he has a vasectomy, he's not getting them pregnant. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
They'd be paying for that shit. Boom. Right. Let me get another hit.
They probably would. No,
that's a good point.
If they can have multiple orgasms, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. Like
most girls don't have that, so they get multiple.
Don't. Yeah. They can't. They're able to.
So we're downplaying ourselves.
It's just the truth. It's scientific truth.
It might be a trade-off. Maybe men might. I don't know. It might be a negative for men once women get a hold of this.
Oh shit! You're right.
You know what? You suck. Homeboy from down the street.
Oh shit!
It's also a negative for women too, because at that point when you're regulating it, you're gonna regulate the body types. Like if you want a thicker person, if you want someone skinny, if you want someone fat, You're gonna have the choices.
Is that men though? Like, so men in general, right? Like, men have their types, right? They can only get off to a certain type, right? Thin, slim, thick. You know what I mean? But women, all they need is the dick. If the dick is good, doesn't matter the body type. Women could get off.
I don't think so. I think women.
I'm with Roman.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't know.
I think women need to trust the person before they can get off.
They have a lot of.
It's a lot of
I
trust.
think they gotta give themselves up before they give
Exactly.
the body, you know?
Because if you talk to a woman, they need to know you.
They gotta open up.
If it's legal and they can pay a motherfucker to have sex, they're like, hey, who's got the best dick? I'm gonna pay them for the best dick.
That's true. Because a woman will be fed up too, like, fuck this guy. I'm gonna go get this Magic Mike dick from the fucking store.
Yeah.
Well, they can get that anyways, kind of, just not the highest quality.
Yeah, women can do that.
I've heard, I don't even know, I've never been a side dude, but I heard that the side, if you're a side dude, women, like, they'll go through any hoops, like, cheat on their guy and do, like, foul shit.
Fuck.
More foul than guys. Like,
I believe it. I don't want to get into that.
You're getting that
believe
spark, you know? You're getting that spark. Like, when you've been with a woman forever, that spark, it slowly fizzles out.
Yeah.
So, with, going with somebody that's new, that spark's gonna be there. So, and
that's
terrible.
Hey, there's a vicious cycle, bro. I've seen like or heard scientific studies, right? That like if you believe in evolution and stuff like that, that women in like the evolutionary process of human beings, they have the ability to have multiple orgasms because they had multiple partners, right? Like they were not now, because now there's more women to men ratio, right? But in like the early days of civilization, there was like a more male to women ratio at one point in time.
Okay.
And so that woman would have sex with multiple partners to conceive a baby.
Okay.
Right? So that's why they had to have multiple orgasms.
Okay.
Because they'd be able to last longer, where a man can only last so long. Nut, he's done.
And that's why the penis is shaped where
that's exactly
the way the penis is shaped is meant to pull the next man's sperm out of it.
Yes.
Oh, no.
This
So your sperm will help the dominant. That's why, yes. Okay. That's why it's shaped like a mushroom like that. Because it's pulling the next man's sperm out to make sure that you have the best chance at impregnating this woman.
So, okay, that's
crazy,
interesting.
Right?
So, then I'm thinking like maybe that's why uncircumcision started. Like I'm not gonna fucking do that. So let's there you go. Let's figure that shit out.
I'm gonna cut the foreskin of my dick off. So I can pull that shit out better. And get
that probably doesn't. Yeah,
and that's why it's probably easy for women to move on and have another. Men are Rolling Stones. Men can have multiple children with so many women. But a woman can only get pregnant once a year.
Right.
Yeah. Every 9 months,
Yeah. So you're obviously going to find women want to find the best breeder that they can.
That's true.
Someone who fits their standards of how they want their baby to look.
Do you think that still holds in today? Like, I don't know, because or do you think they'll ever I want a smart baby, so I'm going to go for like a smart, but they always want the physical, right? Because that's what it was back then. You needed somebody strong to protect you, right?
Yeah,
so it's been like that. It's continued like that, but do you think they're going to get to a point where I want somebody who's intelligent as fuck?
Honestly, I think that because
job or be good in school, I don't know.
Because of genetic engineering and shit like that, you're going to be able to pick and choose what your baby has.
Yeah, you can now.
To an extent. Depending on what money you have and shit like that. The fucking Kardashians could probably be like, oh, one of them be super smart, one of them blue eyes,
they better be black.
Skin. Yeah, they want black babies.
Gonna find an athlete.
Yep, they want fucking. They're like, oh, okay, put this gene in there, put that gene in there.
For the majority, because everybody can't afford that.
Who knows? But eventually, become. A lot of us couldn't afford cell phones. Only the super rich. Now everybody has a fucking cell phone.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
that's basically what they're doing at sperm banks. Women will look at a group of men and be like, "Oh, he has blonde hair, blue eyes.
But they have to have money for the sperm bank too, right?
You do have to have money, but you're also going to pick and choose what you want. So it's either you want to have sex. Like we were watching this documentary where this guy asked women if they wanted to do a natural insemination where he would just have sex with them, or he can just do it artificially from the store. Yeah. So women are really picking and choosing what they want these days. Sure. And it's going to get even worse than that. Because you can go to a store and be like, that's the man that I probably want to have sex with. And you just pull him out and then you guys go do it over there in the store. And then you want to worry about STDs. You want to worry about all those other things that affect us as human beings,
True. I heard that women, 1 out of 3 can get an orgasm or something like that. So 2 out of 3 can't.
It's hard.
Damn.
But having multiple orgasms, Is that why nymphos are nymphos? Because it's like, what would you do if you could, like, the record was 134 an hour.
Wow, that doesn't sound normal.
And the min was, I don't know what it was.
I feel
like
sorry
16,
for her
23
boyfriend.
or something. Like 164, like crazy.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Do you think that's why our psyche is so different? Because we know what it's like to complete that euphoria. Or whatever.
It's a nut. When you nut, you nut. It's hard to come back from that.
It's hard to come back when you were like young or something like that. Remember, like you guys' first time or something like that.
Yeah. When you're young, you could jack off 20 times a day. Like, boom, my shit hurts. I'm gonna do it again. But now it's like,
I have a question though. Did y'all shoot blanks or was y'all?
Oh, it gets to a point where you start shooting something.
No. When you first did it or anything like that, or was you guys already past puberty?
When you're young, like it starts coming out clear, like it's like milky when you have some shit to push out, but then you get to a point where you keep doing it and then it's like clear as shit. And you're like, it's like
blanks.
Nothing's coming out.
It comes just like a shake, like
just a fill, just a quick fill.
It's just something to feel, and that lets you know, like, okay, I'm doing this a lot. But you don't think about it as a kid. You're just like, wow, this is a new experience.
This is amazing,
This is amazing, Yeah. But as an adult right now, it almost isn't a healthy thing.
Yeah.
Because you're not saving it for a person you love.
Right.
Do y'all wish that you would have, like, held off on sex or something like that till you were older? Like how people tell you to? But
that's a good point.
Like, do you think your best ones were behind you? Or do you think, like, I don't know.
No, I ain't going to speak on that. I'm just kidding. No, but it's tough.
I'm not talking about partners or anything.
Right.
Just saying, like, it's probably the elders, they kind of know because they've been there, right? But they're like, oh, wait till you're married or do this, like, be a kid first or something.
Bro, I was literally just bringing this up to Adam about, like, passing on knowledge to our sons, right? And then even to an extent, like with you, Paul, what we were talking about at the bar and stuff like that, you passing on knowledge to your son, right? It's hard to explain that because, do I wish I would have waited, right? Till I was like, I don't know, more ready or more emotional stable before I got involved with the woman. But before I got involved with the woman in that regards, because the stigma is that men don't have tie to sex, right? Like we have sex and we can just like, okay, forget about you the next day. I don't really think that's
not true for me.
Yeah, it's not that true. Like who you have sex with, you have like that kind of tie to them, right? Because you had that experience with them, and you're not gonna have that experience with every woman you meet,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have that experience with a woman, and you're forever kind of tied to that. You know what I mean? You had that experience of love making, having sex or whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah, do I wish I would have waited longer until I found the quote unquote right person to do so? Yeah, of course, but
I wouldn't say right person because like you don't want to regret people, but I'm just saying.
But there's mistakes.
Yeah.
There's people that you've done it with where you don't.
I think it's about having emotional maturity.
Yeah, it's called like what is the diminishing something like that. Diminishing on return. Like so, you say your first cheeseburger, your first first nut, whatever it is. Like as you get older, as you do it more, you're gonna need more of it. So it's 2 cheeseburgers or it's more.
Get that feeling.
I didn't get that.
You gotta supplement,
Yes.
But that's with everything though, right? So it's like, do we just stay on a slow incline? That's how we should live, but we whatever we're into, our hobbies, our habits, boost up whatever we're, going fucking crazy to.
Yeah. I think people have an addictive personality.
Yeah.
And some people have something, but they're not satisfied with it.
Yeah.
So if you're not satisfied, you're like, I want that. I've never had that before. And so you're like, I need to fulfill that need. But some people, like in the Mormon church, they're married since they're 18. Yeah. And I think that's exactly what inflicts them. They're like, I've been married since I'm 18. And then when your brain emotionally matures at 25, you're like, what was I doing?
Right.
I should have had
and then
my
they already
experience.
have kids and shit.
Yeah, you already have kids. And that's why the divorce rate is so high. Yeah. Because they come back from their mission. They're already getting married. And it's like, I'm going to do this. For me, myself, I wish I would have waited a little bit. I was 22 when I had my son. Yeah. But even though people were like, that's a good age to have a child or something, my brain, for science, it wasn't emotionally mature. Yeah. They say your brain stops maturing at 25.
You still have a lot of living you could do.
I think me, Rudy and I had a conversation on the way here of, like, our grandparents were together for 25 years, 30 years, 40, who knows. Yeah. But like now with, you know, you have social media, you're seeing everybody highlight reel. So now you're like seeing options out there. You know, you might be with one person now, but you're like, oh, the next day, like, oh, this girl's doing this now, or this guy's doing this. So it's like, you have options. Like, I'm really curious to see how some of these kids growing up now with social media when they're born, pretty much. Right. Like, what type of relationship are they going to look for at that point? Like, is it just going to be everybody's just sharing each other? Yeah. You know, like, you know.
That's true.
Especially in a small town like this, even without social media, people are hopping to different relationships with the same person, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, we just seen you with her, and we just see, you couldn't find another woman or another man to, you know, create with. People don't have enough maturity to try to stick it out or try to say, hey, things are hard, let's talk about it, let's try to have therapy. Right. Let me not just jump to the next person, you know? But unfortunately, in a small town like this, that's what people do. You see someone who's with someone else, and they're now with someone else having a baby.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do about that?
That's so true, because, like, and Paul brings up a valid point. Like, we're in a small community. You know what I mean? That's like when we started this podcast, we talked about, like, hey, this is about like Ogden, Utah area, right? That's the experience we know, so that's what we're gonna kind of stick to. It's so small. When you think about it, there's less than 300,000 people in this fucking area, Weber County area. That's if you include like Roy and West Haven, Plain City, Far West, all that shit, right? Wow. There's less than 200,000, 300,000 people.
Yeah, especially minorities too.
Yeah, especially minorities. Yeah. Like Hispanics, blacks, it's even smaller than that.
Because you're gonna stick together in your group.
It's even smaller. So like who you hook up with has been with somebody or knows somebody who you were with. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a tough fucking business, bro. It's a tough business, bro.
It's like, we shouldn't judge them too, right? It's like, well, let's just say like it gets to a point where like people are okay with like being thruples or something like that, or bisexual, where they're okay with having two people in a relationship or something.
Current generation.
It's possible, yeah. But we don't judge, or what do you think? Do you think that like they had it right in the beginning where it's like you stick with your partner through thick and thin, that's what marriage is, so you stay together the 50, 25 years? Yeah. Or do you let them experiment and do their own thing and see if it works
That's a good question. I believe both of those things.
Okay.
Because people, I don't think you can literally say I'm meant to be with a person for the rest of my life. Yeah. That's almost like crazy.
Only two
people are basing
monogamous, like penguins and seahorses or something like that. Yeah.
You're almost basing your whole life like, hey, I'm going to be with one person for the rest of my life, which I like because I'm old school. I like the thought of, hey, sticking with one person and make it work out. Yeah. But then also you look at the other side like, oh man, am I meant to do this? Is my brain wired like this? People wire their brain to do that, you know? Yeah. You look at your grandparents and like, they've been together for 50 years. I want something like that. And now these days, people are so quick to look at, you know, Love and Hip Hop and shows that poison your mind.
People are
there's someone else out there. There's someone else.
There's someone else that can make me money. Yeah. Like, you know, Brittany Renner. We were just talking about that.
Okay, tell me about this. I've only seen her like maybe tweet about like college, like, oh, I'm gonna screw somebody's son or something. Yeah. Watch out. Like, tell me this. Break it down to me and tell me what's going on.
So academics had
before you start that. So Brittany Renner had a baby with PJ Washington, who's an NBA player.
Okay,
plays in the NBA. Okay. She was 26. I believe he was 19, turning 20 when she had the baby.
Okay. Yeah, but she's been with like a lot of other dudes. Kaepernick,
wrote a book.
Uzi.
She wrote a book about it. She wrote a book about it.
Is she as bad as Selena Powell, or is she?
She's not pretty, bro. She's pretty.
Selena's just open with her stuff. Brittany's trying to hide it that she's not really this person.
Right.
But she is this person, you know?
Right.
And so, you know, she posted a picture on Instagram, was like, hide your sons, I'm on this college campus. Damn. If a man if a man posted that, he'd probably be in jail, right?
Okay. Imagine,
So it's a different world for women right now. It's like, hey,
I commend her. Just kidding. Yeah.
But she says it's not a business for her.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, I'm going to trap a man or trap this person
and that's the thing too, though, right? Because like if it's a guy, they'll hold something over your head, right? Oh, I'll give you this movie role if you sleep with me or something like that. With her, like, I don't know, wouldn't you blame the guys? Because it's like they're falling for it, you know, she's beautiful or whatever it is, you know, but they have a baby with her, so that's their responsibility.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I don't know how guys fall for those, like, that. I don't know how guys fall for her because they know what they're getting with her. But maybe it's, I don't know, what do you guys think? What is it? Is it the...
Right? Isn't it,
I think it's clout. It's clout to have a baby with a bad shit.
Because there's prettier girls than her out there.
The thing is, like, academic said on the interview that he had with her, right? He tried to mention it, but she kept talking over him. But he was like, well, you know, yeah, because she's like, oh, he was the one, coming inside of me and this and that and wanting to be with me. He's like, yeah, but did you tell him? Like, did you tell him you weren't on birth control? You know what I mean? Like, maybe he didn't want to. Maybe he thought because you'd been with so many guys and you didn't have a baby that he was okay too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But I see what you're saying. He has to take responsibility, dude.
Okay, he should wrap it
absolutely.
up.
Yeah, absolutely, he should. But if you're with somebody and you trust that woman at the time, and they're telling you this, you're gonna, you're gonna be like, okay, she's saying that, I'm this, or I'm not gonna get pregnant, or whatever it may be, and I'm gonna trust her, right? And then all of a sudden she ends up pregnant, and you're fucking paying out the ass for the baby that you thought you weren't gonna have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
What I feel this is like roles reversed. Like, you know how a guy's like, oh, I love you, I'll always be with you. Sweet talking a girl to sleep with her, but now it's the girl doing it to a guy.
Yeah, it has to be that,
And that's okay. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's okay, but it's not okay for the guy to do that either.
No, it's not okay.
But
it happens.
Women are starting. Yeah, it does happen. It has happened in the past too.
Yeah.
Right, and now women are starting to do so. Right, it's like in popular culture. Like you look at Megan Thee Stallion.
I see what you're saying, but I think it's different. Women, they're looking for a check. They're looking for something to progress their life further.
Yeah.
Stability.
Right. Yeah.
A man has to be security for himself.
Yeah.
So whether you have sex with many women, you're the security for that.
Exactly.
Women on the opposite end are like, hey, how is this man gonna progress my life? Mm-hmm. Can I get a check off this baby?
Yep.
Yep.
And that's what the difference is.
We should look out for that because I don't know, unless you weren't raised, to look out for
it's
it.
Tough. And that's what I'm saying. How are these guys falling for it? That's where like,
you didn't have the right. Yeah, exactly. You didn't have the right role model.
It's kind of like Laundry Ticket though, where she's like, no, we don't need a condom. It's
right.
Like, So in the heat of the moment, a guy is gonna go raw or something.
Yeah.
So
I've never had a dad who told me, hey, you need to watch out for this.
I was about
watch
to get
out
to
for
that.
this.
Yep.
So I think that's part of my problem.
Oh shit, okay.
I mean, I know when you're a man, you should be able to look out for yourself and say, hey, doesn't seem right. But if you have someone to guide you and give you that guidance, you're looking out for it before it happens.
Do you know that there's something that, like, do you know you should have been guided, but, like, would you have asked questions if you know that there's something, or would you be too kind of, like, afraid to ask questions? Not afraid, but, insecure, whatever it is, to get that guidance. Because, we all probably had questions growing up or something, but it's like, would you ask for that help? Or do you wish that, the dad was just there or something?
It's tough to say because we didn't have the dads there. You know what I mean? It's tough to say, but I understand where you're coming from, right? But like, what's the ball player's name that got pregnant with Brittany?
PJ Washington.
PJ Washington. We don't know if he had a dad that told him all that shit, right?
Exactly.
We don't know that was like, hey, son, look out for this because women do this.
And he's in the NBA.
That are bag chasing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker was like going into the NBA.
Yeah.
And like the perspective that a lot of people have is that she was older than him and she understood, oh, this bag is coming.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let him know. I'm just going to tell him whatever I want him to know. And then whatever happens. I'm going to get the bag. You know what I mean?
I personally think it's a community, right? That's why they say it takes a village to raise a child, right? Because you're supposed to, his agent is supposed to do it.
But how many, come on now. Yeah. How many guys do you know are stepping in to play the father role for a minority? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like how many times do we have a dad figure when dad wasn't around to step in and be like, hey, you need to look out for this. Exactly. It was rarely, like we had uncles that kind of did that, but it was rare.
Exactly.
Because men don't want to step on the toes of other men. Like if they feel like it's not their place, they're
real man. Real man.
Yeah.
So like I have a kids and their mom is married to someone else. But he can never be their dad. Yeah. Because he doesn't know what the struggle is. He doesn't know how to talk to them. He can't discipline them like I would,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you can kind of see that coming out. So kids really need their dad or a father figure to tell them the truth.
Because you're half the mother and you're half the dad. So yeah, you need that DNA. You need that
exactly
that figure.
Would you listen though? Like would you? And I know like you hear lessons from your mom. Maybe if you had your mom around, you hear lessons and you're like, what? You don't know what's best for me. I'm like wondering like. I would have wished my dad was around, to give me those lessons. And I'm trying to do the same for my son. But honestly, the lessons I'm trying to give my son now are just going in one ear and out the other. I'm just like, come on, like, listen to me, buddy. Like, this is going to affect you later.
And so you're not listening. See? And then he's going to be like, your dad was right. And then he's done with all that bullshit. But we've never had that, though. Where it's just one little seed implanted in our brain to make us think later on.
Yeah, I guess that's...
You have to have the seed planted.
It's crucial to have that seed planted. So he can at least know, like, my dad told me. He told me.
Exactly.
It's gonna happen. It's kind of the disadvantage we have, right? Like we come from a background where due to certain circumstances, and I know, Adam, I want to respect the fact that you had a completely different circumstance than we had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, our dads grew up in a generation. We talked about this on the episode that we had Paul on, but like our dads were of a certain generation where like, hey, I'm gonna distance myself from this or whatever. Like I'm gonna escape this, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I didn't.
Who knows what they're going through?
Yeah. We don't know what's going on. We didn't have. Like,
and later when you realize women actually have a big part to play in that shit, you know?
And you're only getting their perspective. You're only getting that side of the story. Hey, your dad's out there doing this. And with old Mary.
The dads are messing up too.
They were messing up. You know what I mean? They had their shit going on. They had bad childhoods too. I mean, like I don't know. Like I don't know what your dad's dad was like, your grandpa was like, or anything. But I know like our dad's dad was unavailable for him because he was in prison. He was in prison. He was locked up. He didn't have the time to spend with our dad to teach him how to be, you know, hey, this is gonna happen, you know, to a man, and this happens. So he didn't have that knowledge necessarily to pass on to us, and he was a young father too. Right. You know what I mean? I mean, he was my age when we were already like 10, 11. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he was a young man.
Young.
You know?
And my auntie told me that too. She said, hey, your dad didn't have a father figure to tell him what's right to do. See? But then I thought to myself, I didn't have that either, but then I learned from his mistakes.
That's true.
So at a certain point, you got to think to yourself, what the right, what is right or wrong.
Yeah.
You know? Even with racism, you know, even they say people learn racism, you got to know that treating this person like that ain't right in the bottom of your heart, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it becomes down to
why does that shit still happen, though?
Because they're entitled. Because they're entitled.
See, and that I think if it's instilled in your body and your culture for so long, you want it to continue.
Yeah, it's true.
You don't want to be the underling.
That supremacism continues.
You know?
Because as a kid, you know, you think you're doing the right thing all the time, you know, but you have to seriously go through that.
You do have to go through it.
Yeah.
And I swear my mom was always right all the time. She tells me something and I'm like, I wish I would have listened.
Sounding like your mom too to the kids. Like, hey.
Is it because you think that you're going to do better? Like, because we all do it, right? Like, don't listen or something like that. Yeah. But you think like, no, I could be better.
I got this.
Yeah, I know what to do or something.
And you know, my mom is from Nigeria. She's from another country.
Yeah.
So you probably think in the back of your mind, you're not from America, so don't tell me.
But she knows actually human trait.
It's a human trait, you know. Instead of thinking about that, you should just think about what people know as a person, as a human, you know.
Right.
You know, my mom always tells me, just because I'm from a different country doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Now
you're fucked up. You know,
just a little shit. I hear myself like, gotta turn your light off, you know, like you don't pay for the electricity.
And now you find yourself doing it all the time.
And like Roman, you're gonna have a kid, you're gonna feel the same way.
I know to turn the fucking lights.
Exactly. You're gonna get so mad at your kid.
I just gotta say, wait until you have the kid, right, and your daughter's here.
Yep.
And then it's a different love, bro.
She falls asleep with the light on.
But you just, as an older human, you understand that they don't understand, right? And she's gonna come up to you, or she's not gonna come up to you. She's gonna be like, "Do it," and she's gonna be like, "Dad, I don't want to turn the light off. I'm scared or whatever." You're gonna sympathize. You're gonna empathize with her and be like, "Oh, she's a child. She doesn't understand the bill. She doesn't know that. All she perceives is that if the lights turn off, something scary is gonna happen. So I'm gonna let her leave the light on." You know what I mean? Yeah. So certain shit changes.
And you probably pass out or something like that.
Yeah, or you.
But I know I was in high school. Like I slept with the TV on. I tried to put the sleep timer on. I tried to shut it off, but I would just knock out. It takes.
See, that was already in your brain though. Yeah, it takes a training.
Yeah. So I can't just hold the kid accountable. But to try to teach them to have those habits.
You guys have to have new babies. Like, what do you guys feel about that? Growing up in the world like now, because like Aiden grew up kind of in between, right?
Yeah.
He's growing up in.
He was a 2008.
Like,
2008.
So he's like our son, right?
Yeah.
Our sons are 2010 babies.
2011
babies.
Get it right.
I'm about to be on the couch. I'm about to be on the couch. I'm about to be on the couch for a long ass time. But 2011 babies, so they're kind of in the same generation, right?
Yeah.
Where it was still kind of post YouTube, like YouTube wasn't as big an influence until they got a little bit older. But your guys' new babies are going to be in the generational, like YouTube, streaming, all this shit that's going on right now. Babies.
My kid is already on Instagram. That's crazy.
Oh shit! Like, I can't even imagine. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like
You said a boy though, right?
A boy. Yeah, I'm having a boy. You're having a girl. Yep. it's like I'm looking at it already and like this is going to be totally different than what it was in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
2008 was, I don't know. I think I only had like Facebook back in the day, and that was like, that wasn't even connected to my cell phone. Now Instagram's connected to my cell phone, and now my kid's pretty much already on there, and he's barely in the womb still. Like, his picture's already out there. So like when he comes out, like
he's gonna be on Instagram.
He's gonna be on Instagram. He's got a little iPad already. I don't know how old, but it's gonna be interesting.
That's what they say. This is the screen age. Babies are born with a screen in front of their face. Yeah. Whatever it is, to take a picture, to show other people.
Is it to babysit though? To like keep them still and like not right? Because it's like think about watching a screen though, like bro, right? It just keeps you still. You just with a kid you want that, right? Because
but what did you do as a kid? You didn't have a screen in your face. You went to the park.
Yeah.
You went outside. Yeah. You rode your bike.
True.
But nowadays it's like, hey, watch YouTube. Play basketball and fight.
I gotta say about our situation. Our friendship here at this table, we've known each other so long that because me and him are so close in age, we're brothers. They've seen us fight. Like they've seen us throw hands.
You guys got in each other's face, kissed basically.
I wish I would have been there for that. I heard about it the next day.
I needed to see it to know that you guys really
heard about it.
Because you guys are so good at hiding your conflict or whatever you got going on. That it was good to see that actual brother.
You liked it.
I liked it. These guys are actually pissing each other. I don't even know what it was. It was so stupid.
It was stupid, right?
It was over basketball. What the fuck?
In my defense, okay, we were playing like a half court, right?
Yeah,
and
you remember.
I don't know what it is, right? But my brother right here, big brother, he backed me up like 25 yards. Into a fence. What was I supposed to do?
I mean, gotta get pissed.
But no, it was we didn't fight.
Asshole
it was
more of a competition.
It was just
yeah, the show. Hey.
But I appreciate you for like bringing
it up.
Oh, I'm going to be quick.
I remember.
Yeah, you were protecting me
because you know I'm real.
No, that's what I remember the most. Paul was the one that stepped in and like broke it up because everybody else wanted to see us fight.
They wanted to see us fight. I want to see us.
That's my brothers.
That's a good friend right there.
I'm not gonna let you.
You're not gonna fight.
Even though I wanted to see like
what happens. I mean, I don't blame you.
I want to see who can really throw the hands, but I'm not gonna let because after that it's like what did we really do?
Yeah. You guys can't go home after a fucking fight. That's bullshit,
Shit. It was good times, man.
We completely got off the baby subject.
That was
you're having a girl.
Yeah.
Your daughter will be 10 years old in 2031.
Oh shit.
We can't even imagine what the new era will be then. It's a new decade.
Can't even imagine living in 2030.
We're gonna go through the 2020s.
The robot Elon Musk will be president. Elon Musk will die. He's going to try to go to Mars. His spaceship's going to explode. And then the robot version that he uploads his consciousness to is going to be president. And then your guys' kids are going to be alive during that.
Do y'all think like any population type of... Because like, let's say Corona, right? And let's say the vaccine, or let's say Corona gets worse or the vaccine has side effects, or whatever. Do you think the population could decrease by then or not?
That's deep. I don't think so.
The government's ideal situation is to have under 500 million people on the planet.
Yeah.
That's
the
ideal population.
Guidestones. Yeah.
And think how many people are on the planet?
There's 7.5 billion.
The ideal population is 500 million.
Yeah.
That's way too many people dying.
That's a lot.
That is way too small to live on Earth. Like Earth is too big.
Earth will be so healthy at that point. Earth won't have to be healthy.
That's true.
It's hard to think about, but that's the ideal situation for Earth, because it's dying right now. No, but nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't care about that.
This place is precious, and we're fucking it up.
That's so true. So I can't remember what I was listening to, but they were talking about William Shatner going into space, right? So he went into space for the first time. Captain Kirk, right? Who played a space guy?
Yeah, Jeff Bezos sent him. Yeah,
who played a space guy on TV for many years. Well, he went to space for the first time,
right?
And when he came back, the first thing he would say was like, "Hey, we got to protect the Earth."
All astronauts do it.
Yeah, all astronauts. That's what they said.
It's dead out there. Yeah, there's nothing out there. Just look at this beautiful blue rock.
That is the only source we know of life. And the rest of known space is dead. Yeah. We got to take care of it. That's what they say, right? Yeah. And then there's people that say, oh, nobody's ever been to space. Earth's flat. You can't get out of the atmosphere. It's impossible, right? There's a lot of people that say that.
They'll say that, but they just want to see the country. They want to get out to the...
But the people who've been out there say, like, holy shit. Yeah. Once you get the perspective of seeing this little blue orb by itself in the middle of space where
Just
nothing
wild.
else out there is living. We got to protect this planet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So if this all was planned, do you think it's not in vain? Like, to have depopulation or something like that?
So like Thanos approach, where if you got rid of a certain amount of population, it would thrive because there's more resources.
Yeah, you
guys
never know, man. I think that all the time, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because Corona just came out. Boom.
Yeah.
And now people are dying.
Yep.
It's a virus where people have to stay inside. The earth, the carbon dioxide, it got better. The pollution got better.
Yeah, I think for that to happen though, like everybody has to be on board. Well, I don't know. Maybe everybody has to be on board. Maybe I'm wrong on this. Like all the countries have to be on board. And I honestly, like, I think everybody has egos. I don't see everybody being on board with that honestly with that type of approach. Maybe I'm wrong, but like I just feel like China and the U.S. are just totally far apart, opposite. Like and this virus coming from China. Maybe this is China's approach of doing it. But maybe, do you think the U.S. could be totally like on the opposite side? Like, what the heck's going on?
I think
like,
even if we're on the same side, Americans as us, we want to do things our way. People were pissed about wearing masks.
Right.
People are still pissed about getting the vaccination.
It's a specifically American thing, right? Because like what's crazy is since this whole like vaccine, pro-vax, anti-vax thing has gone on, I've spoken to people that I know outside of the country, right? Like I've got people that I speak to because I'm involved with a group that speaks to people internationally, right? Okay. That from South Africa, from even Latin America and Europe and stuff like that. In those parts of the world, they're getting vaccinated. Yeah. They don't have. They're not like, oh, let's not get the vaccine because we don't know the whole studies, right? Yeah. They're like, well, we got to protect the people in this country, so we're gonna get vaccinated, but only in America, where people have like the freedoms to decide for themselves. Like we have this anti-vax, pro-vax. Yeah. We have anti-mask, pro-mask. And maybe it's because we have so much freedom that there's division because of the freedom.
Or maybe they're going to get the 500,000 that's left.
And
it could be.
Detrusting the government. You don't trust the government either. Yeah, right. Like a lot of people, they're giving black people, experimenting and giving black people syphilis back in the day.
True.
It's like, what the fuck?
So true,
the Tuskegee experiment. It's like, let's give these black people syphilis to see how they react to it. See how this happens. So a lot of people are thinking back in the day, if the government did something to your people or something like that, you're like, Yeah. What do I do? My mom got pissed at me for not taking the vaccine. You always keep telling me, take the damn vaccine. It's like, look. And I showed her this thing about Kyrie Irving, and she's like, why are you black men so stubborn? I'm like, you're going to put it just on black people? Black men?
Like,
in general?
Not to side with her or anything like that. No, really, not to.
No, I got you.
Like, when you think about, because I've seen people post stuff about, so Aaron Rodgers is not vaccinated, right? And Aaron Rodgers got COVID. And Kyrie Irving is not vaccinated, but people are putting such a negative light on Kyrie Irving for not being vaccinated.
Yes.
And they didn't say shit about Aaron Rodgers. They didn't say shit about Aaron Rodgers.
There was a coach who lost his job in the NFL because he didn't want, I don't know what coaches is, but he said, I'm not getting vaccinated. And he just like lost. And Ice Cube had a film coming out. $9 million, dude. Turn that down. So what is that? What does that really tell you? I don't know.
So, well, it should just tell you, it's their freedom, right? If they choose not to, they choose not to.
It is, it is their freedom, but the thing is, Kyrie Irving's freedom to not take the vax is highlighted more than Aaron Rodgers.
It's always going to be like
that. So let me ask you guys this, because the NBA has always been in this high regards of, they're always on top of the trends, always doing this. Why are they, it feels like the NFL in this point is like they're allowing players to not be vaccinated. Like Carson Wentz isn't vaccinated, but he has to wear a mask, and that's fine. But the NBA they're really strict on this. It's kind of weird that they're really strict at this point, and they're like going to allow Kyrie Irving to die on a hill alone, because he doesn't want to get vaccinated. Like I don't understand. Is it because it's more contact? I mean, there's a mask separating each player in football. I guess I don't know.
I guess because that's like. A good point. That's a good point. And the only explanation I can think of right off the bat is that, like, with the NFL, right, the offense is on the field for so long, then the defense comes out. So they're not as in contact, you know what I mean? Defense versus offense is in contact. But in basketball, you're in constant contact. There's no, like, okay, the defense is off the field now the offense is on. You're playing defense and offense. So you're on the field, you're on the court constantly with each other, right? So there's more of a capability. There's more of a capability.
For me, it's political for me.
It's a political.
I think it's
because
political.
NFL cares about things when they want to care about things. They care about things.
Yeah.
Like when Kaepernick was in the NFL and he was standing on one knee, they're like, "You better not stand on one knee, nigga." You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But then, like the NBA decides to do something, they do it for a political reason as well. Yeah. So I feel like it's what you care about. You know, if the league's more Democratic or Republican, you're gonna lean towards those policies to help the people who are watching your sport. You know,
it's weird to see both commissioners on. Yeah, they're both on different sides on certain topics.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know why, but in general, I feel like the NBA is more liberal. They're more kind of on the Democratic side. Right,
they would have to be because there's a 90% black people in the sport.
Yeah. And then the NFL, even though the NFL is like 75% African American, right?
But it's the shield.
Yeah,
it's the shield.
There's the shield. They're more like conservative.
Sport,
they're more of a conservative sport, like right wing sport.
It is.
More, so I understand like that aspect of it and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But it could just be and I always say because I'm not completely bought into conspiracy theories, right?
Okay.
But it could be the people who are really in charge, right? Whether it's the Illuminati or whatever, they're just playing those two sports against each other. Because like, okay, well, this many people watch basketball, this many people watch football. We're going to have this one we're going to have this one pro, and we're going to play the middle and see which one wins. And then whichever one wins,
are their ratings up? Because I know their ratings was like down for a while. Is it up since all this drama?
The NBA? NBA's, because LeBron said the whole thing about China, too.
Right.
When China was, when they went to China to play basketball.
Yeah.
And the Rockets general manager actually said, hey, China actually has people enslaved and stuff like that. You know, he was like, so the NBA actually like had to like silence him.
Yeah, that's weird. The whole China thing, like John Cena. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a little weird, but
I don't know what.
Whoever got the money makes the fucking rules. Basically, golden rule, right? Whoever has the gold makes.
That's
the
true.
China's fucking influential, right? Yeah, China's got the most like money right now.
We owe them.
Right, USA owes them money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So whatever their demographic wants to see or not see, that's what's gonna pander. You know what I mean? In the majority towards. You know what I mean?
And the NBA, once they stopped showing NBA games, it kind of, it hurt, but it's also like, let's do the right thing. Who cares about showing games? Right. You know, let's make a statement for the people. Yeah. But they care about money.
Yeah.
So money makes the world go round, baby.
God.
What do you guys think about? So speaking of all this, if you guys watched Kanye West on the Drink Champs podcast, he kind of spoke about this kind of shit.
Yeah. So what I wanted to go into at the end of that interview, he said it's like he's fighting today to have. LeBron, he says he's a king, but he wants LeBron to own, an NBA, like have an NBA for multicultural or whatever, right. Like, leaders that are minorities and stuff.
That's
like
true.
Because you win a championship and they look up to the Rafters and look, at the owner who's a white woman or something like that. Right. But,
the point Kanye made was, or Ye, he's Ye now. He's not Kanye, he's Ye. He said, when LeBron wins a championship, he looks up at the white owner, and in this instance, when he won his last championship with the Lakers, it was a white female, and he said, "I won this one for you. I told you we win." And so Ye's point about it was like, you're basically telling like your master, you know what I mean? I did this for you. Your boss, I did this for you.
And then he also said,
but it's not for another black person. Like he should be winning championships. He should be doing something to elevate black culture.
But when Kyrie said that, he said we should start a league of our own. People were like, "Get the fuck out of here!" Remember when he said that?
Right. That's true.
He said, "Let's start a league of our own."
Yeah.
People looked at him like he's fucking nuts.
But the thing, I guess the thing is like, I mean, we all know, right? LeBron's more influential than Kyrie.
Yeah.
Right. Kyrie's great. I love Kyrie.
He's a messenger. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Kyrie Irving. But LeBron has more pull. If LeBron was to say that stuff and to take that stance, maybe it would be better.
No.
You don't think so?
I think so. But LeBron's a billionaire.
Right.
He has so much things to lose if he says something like that.
That's Ye's point.
Yeah.
Ye's point was he doesn't want to say that because he knows he's going to lose everything. But he shouldn't be afraid to lose everything.
He shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Just like Muhammad Ali.
No, they are afraid to lose everything.
Yeah, they're afraid to lose everything.
That's a generational wealth.
To Paul's point, to Valentino's point,
like
Muhammad Ali.
He risked everything. He told people, I'm not going to fight this white man's war.
True.
I'm not going to do this. And I think people are so caught up in social media and what the ESPN says the media is so involved in trying to put these people in a bad light. Like ESPN will be like, Kyrie's not taking the vaccine.
Yeah.
You know, let's hate on him. Let's do this and that. But it's a choice as a human being.
True, but tell me they couldn't cancel him and just blackball him
Easily.
Kyrie?
No. LeBron, anybody they could.
Oh, they would definitely do it to. I mean, they're doing it to Kyrie.
But it's hard to do that to a person like LeBron because he has such a big voice, man. I don't know. I don't think you can do it to LeBron.
I think the NBA is willing to give up LeBron now because he's already.
Yeah. Is that his career?
He's already coming out in his career.
They want a new face.
They're willing to. You have LaMelo coming out.
But LeBron has more followers than the NBA on Instagram right now. So if you have someone say that,
and they can shadow ban. I'm not saying like they'll go to the super extent, but I'm just saying like they won't show his post won't show up to as many people.
Right.
If he's
Just start to lose those followers,
Yeah, lose followers,
especially when you say stuff like that. Yeah,
exactly.
Like when Drew Brees came out, he was like, "Y'all are still kneeling for the flag? Don't you respect our country?" And LeBron had to come out and say something publicly, like, "Hey, it's not about the flag. It's about people getting killed, in the streets and stuff."
Yeah.
And so I think when it really matters, you'll say something.
Yeah.
But until you lose money, you won't say anything at all.
That's true. And I respect Kanye in that interview, if you guys seen it and stuff too. But he wants, minority people of color to own things. He's like, what do we own? He was talking about blacks or whatever, but he's like, braids, like, that's called appropriation.
Yeah, he laughed at that.
Yeah, you can't wear braids or the N-word. That's nothing though. Like that's just he wants to own land, own business. Yeah, that's what we should do.
Exactly. I respect it because Ye was like, he was making those points, and he's like, and we got people who are broke, don't own anything, but are trying to hold on to something that they think is cultural appropriate. Like, you can't have braids, you know what I mean? You can't say the N-word. You don't own that. You're not making money from that. You're broke. Why are you defending that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I kind of...
You can't even own your own house.
Yeah. You can't even own your own block.
And
it
resonated. The best way to own the block, even without owning the block financially, is to take care of it.
Take care of it.
That's owning it.
Yep. That's owning it.
Yeah.
Power in the people.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
It's true. And it, like, when Roman kind of brought it up a few episodes ago, but, like, what would be the difference? Like, how much of a difference would it be if the black and brown dollar was spent on black and brown people?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Instead of companies that are owned by Caucasians, white people, or whatever, what if we started our own businesses? We only spent our money at businesses that were black and brown. Like, it would change the landscape.
It would change everything.
I think it would help families and stuff like that. It would be great to start, but don't you think people would start getting greedy too? Like, there would start being a divide. Like,
well, that's why they said integration. Like, people loved the idea of integration. When they had segregation, they had separate but equal. Mm-hmm. People were like, separate but equal. It actually hurts the minorities because you're not going to get the best facilities. You're not going to get the best stuff put in your places. Mm-hmm. So they integrated everybody together, but that actually hurt people too because you're only going to white establishments.
Yeah, that's
that
what
are
I was
better.
Going to say. That's what I heard is that, they said like white people's ice was colder or something. So like they went to the white businesses, but when it was segregated, then blacks took care of blacks. They only went to a black, whatever, this and that, and they were in business.
That's so true.
But now that. I don't know.
I'll bring a good example to this. Like, when I shop at, like a, some type of Mexican store here locally, I feel like, I don't know, like going in there, I want to spend my money there, but then, it's like, they'll treat you like shit or something. I'm like, man, why am I shopping here?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I
feel
think you gotta like, you I don't know, they gotta take care of each other. I think the owners have to display that as well, you know, because I get that feeling too. Like, I'm like, you guys are treating me like shit. Why am I spending my money?
Bro, that's so true.
Exactly.
And I remember me and Roman had this conversation way before we even thought about this podcast. But there's a difference between like the Hispanic American and African American dollar than there is like Mexicans, right? So like if a Mexican national went into that store and they spoke, the language they spoke Spanish, they would treat them different, right? They might treat you a certain way because you're a Chicano.
You're not speaking, you're not speaking their language.
So you look like them, but you're not speaking the same language as them. So they're like, you're not of us. So like, you don't matter as much as the person who actually came from where I came from. But if like Hispanic Americans and African Americans, we come from some struggle for the most part. You know what I mean? And so if we came together and like started businesses that basically just like not targeted, but like I'm finding a loss for words, but that just helped
give back
to people who came up in the same struggle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we supported each other's businesses, it would go a long way.
Way a long way. But that's what they say about, black businesses and white businesses. You're not going to go there unless you feel comfortable, you know. Oh, man, I just had a good point in my thought process.
No, it's okay. But, but do you think people are going to pay the prices? Because it's going to be higher prices, right? Because...
You should.
Yeah. You should.
No, you should. Yeah,
to help your community, you should.
Are people really going to do that, though? Because they want to save as much as possible because whatever's going on, right?
Yeah.
To either...
And then if you're getting treated like shit in there, why am I even here?
It's like, that's why people go to Walmart, but because it's super cheap, but, they're getting their stuff from China. Everybody's getting their stuff from China, but still, it's like, but Walmart, they actually don't pay their employees, benefits and stuff, so that's why it's so cheap. So
that's wild.
Their workers are, feeling the brunt of it, whatever. So... I don't know. Yeah, we should pay the premium, but also get treated, with respect and everything like that, and shown, not people just acting like it for political reasons. Like
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's people that will just pander or try to treat minorities equal or try to treat them a little bit better just for the sake of getting more dollars.
Money, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if we were just to have like a safe environment where we can go shop, comfortably or whatever,
Yeah.
And feel at home, not feel outcasted or whatever, it'd be a lot better.
But people want to belong to a group. That was my point. Like, there's Latinos for Trump.
Yeah.
And that makes me go crazy. Like, Latinos for Trump.
Yeah, I don't get it.
But those Latinos for Trump believe they've actually done the right things in America. I came here legally.
Yeah.
So I don't want you illegal. Hispanics coming in and ruining things for me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. You would think that you would just be on the same side.
Yeah.
Fuck if they came here illegally. Let's help each other get to the right place,
Yeah. It's so ridiculous, bro. And I know exactly what you're talking about because, like, I've even had family members where I've had to kind of try to explain that. You know what I mean? Where they're like, oh, well, because they side with that kind of, like, red side of the tape, you know? And they're like, oh, well, they're illegal, like they shouldn't have the same rights as us, and we were here in this. It's like, yeah, but where did we come from?
We all came from the same place.
We all came from the same fucking place.
That hurts me bad.
Yeah, they took the same land from us and they did them. You know what I mean? And then even with like African Americans, bro, like, and I still have that point of view that a lot of African Americans may be Native Americans, right? They may have already been here
from Africa.
Yeah, they've already been here.
Well, I think we did all come from Africa, but the black man was the original man. He was here so long. He's explored so many places.
Yeah.
He was already here.
Think about that. Yeah. Already in this.
And that's why they say that's a Native American.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So that's why everybody can't come from Africa. There's some people who are already here,
Yep.
And like when I talked to my dad, my grandma said, we don't know anyone from Africa. So she's really a Native American.
Right.
No, it's true.
So
they
people
lost
think
all that connection.
Yeah. In school, they try to make you think everybody came from Africa.
Yeah.
You're oppressed.
Yeah,
you need to be in this category.
And that's what
Kanye
Kanye said
talked
too.
about-
He said, I want to get rid of Black History Month. I want to have Black Future Month.
Yep. Because he's like, Ye said they only start from the boats.
Exactly.
When it comes to Black history, they only start from the boats. Oh, well, the boats and you guys came over. You know what I mean? But it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
It's bullshit. Like, and then, so instead of talking about that, because we don't actually know the
And that's
history,
what they say. Dead man tell no tales.
Yeah.
A dead man can't tell you what happened because they were all murdered.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you're going to go off with history that was rewritten. And unfortunately, white people rewrite history to make themselves look better, like we talked about the last episode.
That's why it's called his story. His story.
But that's why they have white Jesus to portray. Hey, this is
That's
the king
true.
of your people. This is the.
Yeah, that's the subliminal.
It's a subliminal message, like,
say,
white
fuck,
people they're better than me.
That's why, like, even as a
and even in Hollywood today, like that's why so many actors and everything are white, and then the kids, think it's real or look up to it. I want to be white. I want to be like a Jewish person. I want to be rich. I want to
do this.
Yeah.
It's true.
Until you come to a
it's
realization.
perception.
Yeah, it's perception.
His blood was red. We all bleed red.
Yeah, exactly.
He shed his blood for me, right?
Yeah.
And so that's ultimately what matters. But I'm not going to follow the images that are pushed on me since youth that he was this European-looking, long hair, you know what I mean, blue-eyed type man.
That's ridiculous. When you think about it now, it's like ridiculous.
It is.
How could people believe that?
They do, though.
They do believe that because their brains are programmed. So...
I don't know.
Good topic, guys.
Anything else